A lot of you have been asking for my Texas video, so I am here to give you a Texas video. So first of all, hook 'em. Welcome back, everyone. I am here to talk all things Texas, and I am here to make all your dreams come true. Well, maybe, kind of. I will be honest with you, though. I do not subscribe to the philosophy and thinking that every single team in college football is going to be better this year. I also don't subscribe that every single player in college football is going to be better than they were last year. Honestly, in some cases, a lot of players aren't going to get better because we saw them at their best last year. And that is exactly how I'm looking at Texas. I am going to evaluate Texas until they get on the field, thinking that no one's going to get better, that everyone is just going to be the same. Because if I evaluate them that way, then I feel like I will be ahead of the curve. I feel like right now everyone is over talking about Texas and they're going to be good. And then Arch Manning, he's going to do this and then he's going to do that. And then all these other things. I think there's a huge miss when we're talking about Texas. One of those things being the defense. But also, I think that we are assuming a lot of people are going to improve and get better and take the step up. They might get better and they might take a step up. But when I'm making my content, I am not going to subscribe to that. I am going to assess what I know and I'm going to go off of what I saw last year. Now, if the players show up and they prove me wrong, then they prove me wrong and we're going to be better than I think. But right now, I don't subscribe to everyone's going to get better because it's the next year. I'm subscribing to what if everybody stays the same? What if everybody looks exactly like they did last year? What does that mean for Texas? What does that mean this season? And the truth of the matter is, a lot of these guys on this Texas team were pretty damn good last year. So that means great things for Texas. I think I think the T this season. I think the key to this season is going to be how do those 2022 classes look? How does the 2023 classes look? And how do the players for 2024 look? I know we spend a lot of time hearing about Arch Manning because that is all people can pay attention to. It is almost like people think that Arch Manning is going to go out there and single-handedly win us football games. That might happen. However, I haven't seen that happen, so I have to think about the things that I do know. And what I do know is Texas recruited well in 2022, Texas recruited well in 2023, Texas recruited well in 2024, and guess what? If somebody from 2025 pops, all the merrier. I think this Texas team is ready to go to battle because we have been in some battles, and that is the best thing about watching this team progress. We are getting better and better and better every year, and I expect us this year to be good again. If you're watching this video and you like what you see, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. And don't forget to turn on those notification bells on so you don't miss any of my content in the future. And maybe, if you're feeling generous, don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section below. I also will be honest and say I love our schedule. I love the way it's laid out. Why do you think I like the schedule? Well, first and foremost, I like that Arch Manning has to go to Ohio State in the first game of the season. I like that he's going to have that loud crowd noise. I like that he's going to have a moment to get rattled. And I like that he has to get up and play this game because we all know Ohio State is going to be ready to play. And I like that for the first game because that means all offseason he will have prepared for this game. The second thing I love about this schedule is before we go to Florida, we actually have a bye week, and I'm okay with that. So Arch Manning will have been to Ohio State, played first game of the season, a loud environment. He gets a bye week, and then he gets to get ready to go to Florida. I like how that feels. I like how it sounds. I also think a lot of people, when they talk about Arch Manning, they always say he hasn't played any meaningful snaps. He hasn't done this, that, and the third. Here's the thing about that. Arch Manning has played in meaningful games. Arch Manning has been with this Texas program for 3 years. Arch Manning has been waiting his turn. So if you want to say to me that he hasn't taken any meaningful snaps, cool. But I did watch him start against Mississippi State. I did watch him come in against A&M. I did watch him come in the playoff games. So my whole point in saying this is, I think when we live in a world where people start saying certain things and that means that those certain things must be true, I really wish that we would get out of that and start using our common sense a little bit. The other thing is, remember last year, Quinn Ewers was hurt most of the year last year. If Quinn Ewers was hurt most of the year last year, who do you think was taking all of those snaps behind Quinn Ewers when Ewers couldn't practice? Now, you will say to me, yeah, but that's not a game. But the thing is, a lot of people say when people used to sit on the bench, the thing that hindered them was their ability to understand what it was like to take snaps during the week, to watch film during the week, to get ready during the week, and all of those things leading up to the game. Arch Manning has that experience for a multitude of reasons. So you can say whatever you want about Arch and his experience. You can say whatever you want about it. But the thing is he's a 5-star and he's a Manning, and I expect him to play like it. And I expect him to go into Ohio State and take that experience and learn from it. Do I think Arch Manning is going to win the Heisman next year? No, I think that's absolutely ridiculous for anybody who thinks Arch Manning is going to win the Heisman next year. Am I placing my money on Arch Manning to win the Heisman next year? No, because I don't think Texas being successful means that Arch Manning has to win the Heisman. Because, spoiler alert, I think this Texas defense is going to carry this Texas offense for as long as it needs to, because I believe that is how we are built, and I believe that is the lesson that Coach Sark learned last year. But I'm not sure. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that is the case. And so am I all in on Arch Manning? Well, yes, he's the quarterback of my Texas Longhorns. Do I think Arch Manning is going to come out and be perfect this year? Absolutely not. But do I think Arch Manning needs to be perfect for Texas to win football games? No. And do I expect Arch Manning to get better throughout the season? Yes. And that is why I think Texas will have a good season, because I think Arch Manning will improve week after week after week. Is he going to be perfect? No. Are we going to see some things that go wrong? Sure. But do I think he's going to collectively continue to get better? Yes. Why do I think he's going to get better? Because I've watched him get better throughout his time here at Texas, and now he is the starter. So I expect him to get better. The other thing I want to say also, I know a lot of people are talking about when Arch came in to play against Georgia. Oh my God, he looked so terrible against Georgia. He was terrible. He was missing throws. He was doing all this stuff. I like that Arch Manning got that experience with Georgia. I liked that he got to get in there and see how fast the game was, and I like that he's going to have that to learn from. And so I'm excited to see Arch Manning this year. I'm not on the Arch Manning hype train. Honestly, I don't have to be on the Arch Manning hype train, because Arch Manning is just going to be a piece to why we are a championship caliber team. That's not to take away anything Arch Manning does. I think that speaks to the strength of this Texas team, to the strength of the recruiting, to the strength of this coaching staff. And I don't want us to lose sight of that just because we have Arch Manning. If Texas is able to be successful and do all the things I think that they're going to do, it's going to be for 4 reasons. Obviously, first, the details. I said at the end of last season and heading into this 2025 season, the one word I wanted Texas to focus on is details. I wanted us to be able to focus on the details, and I wanted us to be able to execute on certain things because we struggle with that. There's a lot of other things I want us to work on, but to the core, it is all about the details. And I hope that this Texas team has fixed those details, because we are going to need to have fixed those details in order to win a lot of games this year. It's obviously first the details. It's going to 100% be that roster retention. Like, let's not undervalue that roster retention. I think the roster retention is a bigger deal than we're talking about, but I'll leave that where it's at. The third thing is going to be that defense. I think the defense is going to have to step up. That's going to be very important for this Texas team. And the fourth thing is going to be competitive depth, competitive depth, competitive depth, because I believe Texas has it, and I believe that is what is going to make the difference for us this season. Now, the season has to play out. Again, I'm not predicting anything crazy here. I'm just saying. And before anybody says, everyone will say, well, what about Arch Manning? What about Arch Manning? I have a lot of thoughts about Arch Manning, but I don't believe this Texas team is just about Arch Manning, and I think that is what makes us special, and I think that is something that people are not paying attention to. Is Arch Manning going to be Arch Manning? Yes. But is this Texas team more than Arch Manning? Absolutely. However, they have to prove it to me. And this defense has to come out and show it to me. And mainly because I believe as of today in July, the defense is going to be the strength of this Texas team. Now, do I want Arch Manning to come out and ball out and be the reason why we win games? Absolutely. However, my point is, if he doesn't come out and do that, I still think we can win games. Well, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over and get ridiculous with the football. But that's another here or there. We have a lot of things that we need this year to be successful. My hair is blowing everywhere, and these birds, I don't know what's happening. Sounds like they're killing each other. But we have everything we need to be successful this year. Do I think Texas is going to win a lot of football games? Absolutely. Am I sitting here saying that Texas is going to win the national championship? Absolutely not. Because I don't think any team right now in this moment when I'm recording this video in July is going to win the national championship, because I haven't seen any of these teams play. I don't know how injuries are going to come up. I don't know what is going to happen this year. I am not one of those people that just jumps and says, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so in the national championship. I'm not doing that. Do I think Texas has a great shot? Absolutely. Do I think Texas is going to be a great football team? Absolutely. Would I bet against Texas? Absolutely not. I'm a fan of the team, but I'm also very reasonable. So for those of you that have been waiting for me to make my Texas video, to give you my thoughts and to give you all those things, I actually didn't get rained on. I'm super proud of myself. I'm going to say hook 'em here. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I will see you in my next video.